TAKEdown MMA. I am Albert Gonzales. Make sure you are checking our show out at ibtv.us, Roku, and YouTube. To finish up today on our final segment, we've got our guest here, Mike Gonzales from 303 Training Facility, and we've got JJ Aldrich. She will be fighting Polyana Viana coming up here in about 8 weeks. Final segment, we just kind of want to go into open discussion, and I'd like to kind of talk to you about the state of MMA, sportsmanship, that kind of stuff. We kind of talked about it on the last episode. Mike, you mentioned that JJ wasn't going to talk her way into any title fights, which is the complete opposite of what everybody else in the UFC is doing. You know, everybody, basically, you just call somebody out enough, and the UFC is going to give you the fight, whether you deserve the title fight or deserve that fight against a ranked opponent or not. If you're making enough noise on Twitter, you're going to get that. You guys are the complete opposite of that. You don't see any trash talking coming out of you guys. You don't see any calling out. You don't see any of that kind of stuff. What is the reason that you guys take this path? And is this something you see that's going to go away in the UFC or in MMA in general, or do you think this is just the way it's going to be now?
The reason we take things the way we do is because it's all. I feel it's all about being who you are, And if it's almost like if you look at acting and you see a comedian and you meet them, you expect them to be funny all the time. Why? Because that's what they made their name on. And random, they might not even be funny outside. They might just do their thing and be normal people, but then you won't be interested. Right. So if you're being who you are, the fans will see who you are, and then they'll respect you a lot more. It might take a little bit longer. It might take a little bit longer, but I think they won't expect anything different from you. And I think MMA right now is in just a state of, just like an entertainment business, and that's where they're going towards. But I mean, it does make for fights because you call somebody out. But I think, if you're just who you are, it'll get you there. But like I tell JJ is, if you knock enough, somebody's going to answer the door. Right. And you don't have to necessarily talk. You don't have to pound on the door. You just got to knock and keep knocking, and they're going to eventually open the door. And I think that's the way we look at it. Right.
Well, to me, part of the problem is so you got somebody like Conor McGregor, or even if you go into boxing, go further back, you got somebody like Muhammad Ali, or even Floyd Mayweather to an extent. So these guys were known for their talking. I mean, obviously their fighting skills as well, but they just had a way about talking and just had a way about talking trash, and people loved it. They ate it up. Now you've got people in the UFC who maybe this isn't in their character, and they're just trying to follow along the same game plan, like what Conor McGregor would do. And to me, that's what makes it a problem. Like, if you have to manufacture drama, to me, then that means that your fighting isn't speaking loud enough for you, that you got to make more noise. So we have somebody like Colby Covington, who's, man, he's done everything from calling Brazilians to filthy animals to, everything in between. You've had Fabricio Verdum throw a boomerang at him, for God's sake, so you have somebody like that, and basically he's got good fighting skills. He knows what he's doing. He's a smart fighter, but he's really launched himself into another level just because of his talking. But it seems so fake to me, and that's where I have the problem. Is that it just seems.
But like you brought up, like Ali, and you brought up Conor, and even Floyd for an example. It's like those guys do it. They're good at it, and they're quick-witted, and they don't script anything they say. They just say it, and it comes out like that, and that's who they are. Versus you do got Kobe, or you do got even Amanda Cooper when she fought Dern. You could tell the whole thing was scripted. Right. And they did the Fox thing. She played it out in her mind the whole time, and maybe that's a good thing. But I don't know. There's a difference, and just like fighting levels, there's levels to that kind of trash talking. Not everybody can do it. That's why you see very few be able to pull it off. Right.
Well, so in terms of you as a fighter, if you're fighting somebody who's, say it's Polyana Viana, and apparently she's not that kind of person, but just for discussion's sake, so say she was that kind of person that just runs her mouth. Is that something that fuels you going into the fight? Is it something you just don't even pay attention to?
I think it's something you just gotta not pay attention to, because if you're letting it fuel you, it could be a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing, because then she's always in your head, you know? I think it's just something you gotta like not pay attention to the best you can. Sometimes it's hard because everyone on social media sees it and then they try to bring it up to you, and so it's always out there. But I think you gotta be self-motivated, and if you need somebody who's trash talking to help motivate you, I think that your motivation is wrong. Like I gotta be motivated for this fight the same way I would be motivated if I was fighting like a Conor McGregor of my division, you know?
Right.
You gotta motivate yourself individually as a person. I've never had a situation where I've had to fight a girl that was just trash talking the whole time, so I'd like to say I'd be able to ignore it, but who knows, you know?
Right.
One day when I get there, we'll see how I handle it, but...
Well, so even getting past that, so you brought something else about reading stuff online, that kind of stuff too. It's something I wanted to discuss too. So more so with the females, I think, than the males. You guys put up with a lot of crap online.
Yeah.
You know, I know my fighters have put up with it, and I know you have to put up with it. Everything from the creepers, the perverts, or just the people that talk trash. Especially at the level you're at now. You're at the highest level.
Yeah.
So you have a bigger base. There's more eyes on you. Is that something that ever really bothers you? I mean, we're all human, you know, so any kind of words that are, you know, mean words or whatever, like it's gonna, you know, affect us a little bit in some way. Is that something that you've had to deal with too much? Is that something that maybe bothers you don't like, or do you just ignore it all?
You know, there's always creepers out there that I've had to deal with, especially being a girl. I think girls get it, like you said, way worse than guys. But I haven't gotten to the extent as some people. Like, some people I've heard gotten, like, raunchy pics sent to them and, like, stuff like that. So, thankfully, I haven't gotten any of that. And I just try to ignore it, you know. If I see something negative pop up in my inbox, I just don't respond. I don't even open it. I just delete it. And go on with my day. I try not to think about it too much. As far as what people say, not really perverts, but like just people in general, like critiquing my fights or how I looked. You know, it's kind of sometimes it's kind of sucky, but at the same time, I know like my last fight. You know, I wish I could have knocked her out. You know, but Danielle was like a puzzle. You know, we couldn't chase her the whole time because that's how she wins, is by people chasing her and playing into her game plan. So I had to stay in the middle and I had to fight the way I was supposed to. And some people are like, you know, she wasn't going after it. But it's like, I know that I was proud of my performance because I followed the game plan that we had come up with.
Right, and obviously people, they always want to see the knockout.
Yeah.
They want to see the exciting thing, but those are generally people who maybe haven't been in that position before, whether it's through coaching or fighting or both, you know, so they're not really understanding what all goes into it, so I get that. So as far as you, whenever she gets this stuff online, whenever she gets any of this talk, does that bother you? Do you ignore it? Do you delete it? Like, what's your view on all of that?
You know, I learned to figure it out after she got off with the Tough show, because it started airing, and that's when we really thought, like, you seen the, like, people talking stuff or people saying stuff, and after that I kind of blocked it out. Now it's just like, it's kind of funny to me a little bit, because it's like, you know, the better you're doing, the more they're going to talk.
Right.
I mean, and for you to, if you go out of your way to think about us and talk about us, and obviously we're doing something right.
Right.
You know, and there are other people out there, whether it's coaches, fighters, and a bunch of stuff. There was a coach down the Springs, I don't even know his name, but after she got off the show, you know, he started, it's like, are you mad because your fighter's not at that level? You know, it's not my fault. You know what I mean? You know, and I think, you know, that's just where it goes. I think as a fighter and a coach, you just have to block that out and expect it. You're putting yourself out there. You're putting your pride out there, whether it's boxing or MMA. They're both combat sports, and I think you just got to do it for yourself and do it for your team. You know, and if they talk, they talk. If they don't, they don't.
Right.
You know, and I think that's what separates the goods from the greats. Is, I mean, people can't stand Floyd, but that dude can fight and he can talk. You know, he's doing something right.
Well, to me, that's kind of what separates fighting from all the other sports too, is that you're out there all by yourself.
Yeah.
So you put all this work in the camp, and you're throwing everything out there in front of millions of people. Like, they're gonna see it, and all these people are critiquing.
And it's hard too, because like I feel like as a fighter, for me as a martial artist, that's your personality. Me out there fighting. That's the most genuine me you're gonna see. You know, that's me expressing myself through my art form. So to be out there and then people critique that, like, it's kind of hard. But as long as the people that surround me, you know, think and support me and send positive things, I think that's important, you know.
Right.
That's like me trying to judge a basketball player. Like, I have no idea what I'm talking about, you know. I could critique all I want, but...
Well, I know even as far as I'm concerned, like, as a coach, like, constructive criticism, like, even if it's coming from a different coach, from, you know, other coaches of the fighters, like, if it's constructive criticism, like, it's, you know, you take it and, you know, file it away, whatever. But if it's mean-spirited, that's just a different story. Those are the ones I just delete and just move on. But, you know, hopefully you don't have to deal with too much more of that. But, you know, you keep winning and you're going to keep silencing all these people too. So that's all we can ask for. That's going to do it for today's show, guys. I want to thank Mike and JJ for coming all the way out here and doing the show with us. We really appreciate it. We'll see you guys again next week. Make sure you catch us on ibtv.us, Roku, and YouTube. Thank you. Have a good day.